This is placeholder media. Replace to take full.
Can I steal you for a minute?
Steal you for a minute?
Can I steal you for a minute?
Welcome to Can I Steal You for a Minute, the reality dating recap podcast. My name is Indra Raj.
And I'm Mary Bianco.
And wow, everybody, it is. We are fresh off watching Jenn's episode of The Bachelorette. I feel like we're reporting on a very important story in the middle of the night.
I know, we had to hop on here. I mean, it was a pretty good episode. I really feel like a lot happened.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
It gave me everything I wanted, mostly just handing Sam M his fucking ass to him.
Thank God. This man, it always happens. This is just a lesson to anybody that goes on the show and wants to be a narc.
Yeah.
Devin played it so right in this case. Eventually someone will just eat their own ass, I guess, is the best way to put it. Sam really imploded in a way we haven't seen since Luke P. Really imploded. Yeah.
It was almost unbelievable.
Yeah.
How bad, I was what is actually happening right now? Me and Patrick are just sitting there, we're is it this? Is it this? This is not normal what's happening.
Ethan was is he trying to go home? It was I feel like the producers saw Sam M's dad being justice for Sam M, he has such a bad edit, and they were oh really? And just showed uncut footage of their son just shoving his foot down his own throat. It was insane.
It was insane. Okay, before we get into it though, I know that The Bachelor has been announced, but I don't know who it is. So I was Mary, let's save it for the pod. And I cannot wait any longer. I have some guesses, but tell me who it is.
Actual breaking news. It's Grant.
Oh, yay! I knew it was going to be him.
Yeah, you knew
After seeing it, I was they have to choose this guy.
I thought for a second it was going to go to Spencer with the phone call to his mom, just showing that he was really upset. But I think Grant's episode last week just...
Yeah.
So, I mean, The Bachelor promoted our podcast last week. Pretty crazy.
Wait,
because
what?
Grant posted about our podcast.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. Whoa. This is all clicking for me right now.
Yeah.
Grant pays attention to our page and listens to our podcast and told people to listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved you anyway, but now that I remembered that, I love you the most.
I really love him. I'm really excited for him. I hope we get to see more of his goofy side, because on social media he's clearly goofy and can have fun, and I don't think we got to see that very much. And I think, he's different than a lot of men that have been The Bachelor before. He has real world experience, and I'm elated it's him. I'm so happy it's him.
He's obviously so hot.
Yeah.
It's a little distracting. So
yeah, it's kind of
that.
unfair.
But
yeah.
That's not the best thing about him, I don't think. Which is saying a lot.
His heart is the best thing about him, which is so corny to say, but he has such a big heart.
It's so genuine and real. And our King Joey, same situation.
Very, very similar. And I think it's going to be a really fun season. I think they have an opportunity to bring in a really good group of girls. And
yes,
I can't imagine him really fucking with a pageant queen. So if they can just move off of that, I think we'll have a really fun season.
Well, we can see that what really cemented it for him with Jenn, I think, was when they were able to really get deep with each other, which is how he's there for the right reasons.
Yeah.
That's the whole cliche, but truly he's there for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And he's just, I appreciated this episode when he had a very astute observation when they were Spencer's if a woman comes and talks to me like that, it's not going to be a good thing. And Grant was yeah, but it also means that she cares.
Yeah.
And it was yeah, that's absolutely true. He had such a good read on the situation.
He clocked it because going ahead to that conversation, like Jen wanted that to work. Like she was not somehow, some way, she was not put off by how Sam was acting. And I think like Grant also clocked with like that guy Matt last weekend where he was like, guys, I don't think this is going to be a big deal, but if it is, like just let Jen ride it out. And like I think he'll be so great for that on his season. Just like relax, calm down, have fun.
I'm just like, even that dude Matt deserves to be on this season more than Sam. Like
Sam M.
Oh my fucking God. The part in the radio interview, okay, whatever producer decided to make a one-on-one radio interview with Sam is a fucking genius. I love you. Keep doing what you're doing.
In so many ways. Because it was so cute to see the callback to Molly and Jason's date at that radio station. And then on top of it, he's with so many well-spoken guys on that date. Like in particular, like he's with Spencer, he's with Jonathan, he's with Devin, all these guys that are like, and Grant, who are really good at expressing themselves.
Yes.
And it was just a perfect setup to be like, okay, back to back to back, you can see that this guy can't do anything but kiss you. And that's what he did on the radio show.
Oh, and it was so scary. Like the whole like when he said aggressive
for fantasy suites,
that was disgusting.
Yeah.
And the part that actually made me like scream out loud was when he said, "Well, you weren't my type."
I know.
My jaw fell to the floor. I was just like, that's one thing to say, and I can say this as a woman of color, to a white woman in America, because okay, whatever, white supremacy, all the things. If you are a woman of color growing up in America, predominantly in circles where people are white, that takes on a whole new meaning in a really, really bad way. And I just, gross.
I want to go ahead. Yeah.
No, that was it.
Especially saying, I thought the Bachelorette was going to be Daisy or Maria.
Oh my God.
So him saying, when I got out of the limo, you weren't my type. I thought it was going to be Daisy and Maria. It's like, Jen, just pay attention to what he's telling you. He came on this show for a white woman. And
he did.
And I am sure has only kissed, dated, whatever, white women.
Yeah.
And he was surprised by how sexually attracted he was to you in a very fetishizing way. And I think thank God they didn't spend any time alone in the fantasy suite. That would have been,
oh my God.
Ugh.
You know who I want to talk to? I want to talk to Sam M's one and only ex-girlfriend from middle school.
I know.
I want to know why that relationship ended. I mean, there's a million reasons why, I'm sure. She was probably like, do you know anything about me after 15 years?
Yeah. Like, and I guess she cheated on him.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. He said that.
But, and not that I'm going to excuse cheating, but I think we do see a lot that, and I'm going to speak it very broadly here because I feel like it, and this is our podcast. Men don't tend to pick up on when women are checked out of the relationship, and don't tend to pick up on when they are not checking in with somebody and when their partner like really needs somebody.
Yeah.
And I think that may be like, not that.
And that's
cheating,
like times a million.
Yes.
Sam.
Yes.
I mean, seriously.
Yes. Like,
sorry, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, like, I'm sure she was giving him a million signs that she needed more emotionally from him, and he just was not taking them. And like,
no.
Yes, you should break up before you sleep with someone else or whatever else she did, but like I kind of understand it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, again, not giving a free pass to cheating, but like a relationship that you've been in since literally middle school, like the squishiness of your brain when you are like 12 13 years old is like a little alarming. Like nobody should stay in a relationship with someone that they've been in. Like, even if you're in the most perfect relationship, like, you need to test some other things out. Like, if you're going to have a healthy union with that person eventually. And, like, I just feel like Sam M's way of relating to women is literally stuck in 7th grade.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, he's actually talking as if he was in 7th grade and has never had an emotional life or grown up quite literally at all.
No, like he doesn't know what it means to love somebody. And like Jen was teeing it up for him, saying, tell me one thing that you like about me. And he was like, you're selfless. And she was like, okay, but when have I showed you that? And he's like, well, when you love someone, you have to be selfless. And she's like, that's not what I asked you. Like, what do you like about me? And he could not tell her. And it's like, Jen, if you have to ask once, like, it's a no.
I mean, we have to give it to her for finally getting there and for sending his ass home. And what just became so clear to me is like, he was absolutely her number one. Like,
yeah,
he was her number one. She gave him 3 chances to explain himself in a one-on-one situation, and he could not do it. He just dug a hole deeper for herself. I mean, the last straw was when she asked him to tell her what he learned about her on their one-on-one date, when she like opened up so vulnerable about her past, told all these really like personal things about herself. He clearly didn't listen to one iota of it, or like didn't think about it afterwards, didn't like, it was just in one ear and out the other, quite literally. And she wasn't able to see it in that moment. But I don't know, I just have to think that like that must have been a painful moment for her, like, you know, just kind of taking away the drama and all of it. Like, this must have been hard for Jen.
Yeah, her eyes were like twitching. Like I think it was all like crashing down on her at once, that like we said this after the one-on-one, that he was only listening to respond. He wasn't really taking in the information. And I think it really hit her that she should have probably been more annoyed that he didn't give a shit what she said at all, just that he wanted to talk about what happened to him. It just kept saying my experience and what I want out of this. And it's like, dude, you're not the Bachelor. Like, you're trying to marry someone. What's going on?
Like, what is going on? Like, she was like, he literally couldn't even say an adjective. It was like, you can't even tell her she's beautiful.
No.
Like, he couldn't even say that.
That had to be qualified so many different times. Like,
I know. Oh God, which is so rough.
He's just like, even it was like, when I met you, I didn't know if you'd be able to show love how I know how to. What? I describe my love as reckless. If I hear reckless love, ferocious love one more time in my entire life, I'm ending it. I'm done. Like, what are you talking? Like, we're done.
We're done. We're done.
We're done.
You know, I'm going to say it. Sam M is the biggest villain I've ever seen. Wait, do I mean that? Chad is so bad. Chad.
I think he's the biggest loser we've ever had. Like, I think Sam M might be just like
worst all around person.
Just worst vibes. Like, just atrocious vibes. Like, he'd walk into a room and just suck the energy out of it and be like, I fucking killed it in there. Like, it just would be like
I mean, just gross. Like, I truly just felt grossed out even just looking at him by the end of it. Like, and I think Jen felt that way too, quite honestly.
Did you notice how chapped his lips were in that final confrontation? I was just like, he's literally rotting away. Like, he's just everything is going to shit. Someone in the Who Weekly Facebook group said you look like a pencil, and I can't unsee it.
He looks like a pencil.
He does look like a pencil.
Eraser up, right?
Yeah, like... eraser up the hair, and then just like the very like. Ooh.
I'm never excited for the men tell all, but I want to see him at the men tell all. I want to see him fumble his I just want to see him screw up again, because I got so much entertainment out of that.
It could have been like 12 hours of that, and like usually when the breakups drag out, I'm like, okay, like cut him, and I'm just
let's get this show on the road.
Let's keep seeing how this goes, because it's really like I've never seen anything like it.
No, unbelievable, and she like. Anyone that she actually didn't give a shit about would have been gone like after the group portion of that date.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't have even given them a chance like in the evening. But she gave him the chance in the evening. And then she went to go see him the next day.
Yeah.
Like she was mad, but like I think if he had actually said the right thing, like she would have taken him, like gone home with him. Like I think she absolutely would have.
Yeah, I mean, she said that. She was like, I feel like we've been through so much that if we have this conversation, it'll just be another thing that we've overcome. And it's kind of like, Jen, should it be hard? Like, and this guy has no self-reflection whatsoever. I think it was Devin that asked him when he was like, hey, is there any part of you that knows that she was maybe talking about you there? Like, it's like, and he was like, maybe. Like, who else would it be?
I know. Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, good riddance. Like,
Ta-ta.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him on the beach just because he can produce such amazing TV because of how narcissistic he is. Like, it could really, I don't know. I don't know. After seeing that, though, like anyone who went to the beach would have theoretically seen the season, and you just can't take him seriously after that, right?
I think we'd be surprised how many girls would still go for it. Because, like, people tried to date Chad on the beach.
I you know who I immediately thought of?
Who?
Who would Daisy?
Daisy, or I was thinking like Kat.
Oh God, yeah. Kat has like a little bit of self-respect. I feel like Kat gets mad really easily, and like she would lose it eventually. But I can see that too, for sure. Definitely like, Daisy.
Anyone with a real like I can fix him attitude is gonna like try for him.
Yeah. No, that
like
guy
Sydney.
Sydney. Which Sydney?
The one that was beefing
Sydney.
with Maria. He's different with me, guys. Like, you don't get it. He's different with me.
He's different with me. Okay, I don't know that we need to say more about him. He's terrible. Goodbye.
Yeah, bye. I want to see if he DM'd us at all because I posted a couple.
Oh, I haven't. So I didn't look at the IG yet because I didn't want to get spoiled. But
we got a repost from Charity.
Oh, okay, that is some royalty.
Repost from Charity and Jesse Palmer. Jesse loves memes about him. Like if you post a meme about Jesse Palmer, he will repost it.
Jesse promoing Wicked was delightful,
incredible,
beautiful, everything I wanted from a Bachelor promo. His level of excitement, the like suit, tuxedo, whatever situation.
The announcement,
it wasn't a tuxedo.
Look to the westward skies. He was so he was so excited. And Jenn and Marcus like didn't really give a shit that they were like doing Wicked promo and like
no.
Jesse was just delighted. Like he loved it.
Delighted.
He loved it.
I loved it. I loved it too. Truly,
me too.
I loved it. Okay, so let's talk about Marcus's date.
Yeah. I want to tread lightly talking about Marcus. I don't know.
Yeah. There's been some stuff that's come out recently about him involving an ex-girlfriend, right? Who he was emotionally abusive to about surrounding an abortion. Is that right?
Yeah.
And do we know more details than that? Or
no, I think it was just that this person had confirmed that they were in a relationship and talked about how she felt very emotionally neglected and at times verbally abused by Marcus.
Okay.
I think that my thesis for Marcus is he should have gone to therapy instead of onto TV. Because when we hear more about his backstory and we hear about his trauma being in the military, I am never going to excuse emotional abuse or verbal abuse, but I think that there is a pattern that he has not yet worked through to be trying to marry somebody. And
100%. Like, and this is one of those situations where it's like, this is so cliche, but it's so true. It's like, you need to kind of get right with yourself emotionally before you can like really be in that type of relationship where you can like really be there for the other person. And it's like a true long-standing partnership. Like I even like I've been with my partner for like 16 years or something, but we met each other in our early 20s and like I hadn't gone to therapy yet and all sorts of things, and like we've like worked through a lot like from that, but like I know that like I'm not able to be the best partner I can be without having worked through like stuff in my past. And I don't have anything nearly as trauma. I mean, I was like being almost blown up and killed is horrific.
I know. And like enough for a lifetime.
Right.
And then we find out about like him and his sister just go to daycare one day and their parents never pick them up. Like he didn't ever mention that.
Like even thinking about that. Like
I know.
Yeah. I just, oh my God. I really feel for him. I really do.
Me too. And I feel for the woman that's potentially been wrapped up in him trying to be a better person and express himself, and he can't be there for her. And it was just really hard to watch this date and not feel like my heart is breaking for this person.
Right.
And I just hope that he gets like the help that he needs, because this is like, and as it would be for anybody, this is like an open wound. And he was like showing the most personality he's ever shown. So he's clearly getting more comfortable.
Right.
And I don't think Jenn is with him. And so I think it's just going to be like, she's going to go to his hometown. It's going to open up all this other stuff about his family dynamic. And then he's probably going to get broken up with. And it's just going to be like.
Well, okay. Do you remember the promo from last week? It showed him being like, him leaving.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think maybe he realizes he's not ready.
I hope so.
Which I really hope it is that. I mean, I think he'll be okay if Jenn breaks up with him. It will be hard for him momentarily. I think he will be okay.
Yeah.
From that. But yeah, I mean, the amount of stuff, it's just, yeah. And I think this is a case where like us as podcasters and people who are like in the Bachelor Nation world and consuming all of these like news stories and like things that people drop on Reddit and, you know, the TikTok, whatever, like it's not like discounting whatever this woman's experience was like at all, but I think it also is just a helpful reminder for me that like people aren't just one thing, and that like human beings are complex beings, and even still we don't know the whole story. No, all I know is that my heart breaks for him and what he's been through, truly.
Me too. And we see him talking to his sister next week. I don't know who else from the family we're going to see. I don't know if he fully connected with a foster parent. I don't know if he reconnected with his biological parents. I don't know what this layout is going to be. But I think like in another way, Jenn's season is like really pushing things forward and pushing different narratives out there, because this would be the first time we don't meet anybody's parents. And like, like I don't think we've ever not met someone's parents, adopted or foster or biological. And I don't know that we'd meet anybody for Marcus.
Like at least one parent. I feel like there's been like non-traditional situations, but it's always been like at least one parent. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, and you know, also huge to like to reveal, like I've never opened up about this, and here I am not only doing it with this woman, but like fully on national TV. Yeah. Like huge. And I mean, that's a part of his therapeutic journey, I would think. Yeah. And I can't imagine. I don't know. I wish him the best. I don't think him and Jenn end up together for, you know, a variety of reasons, but I'm glad they had their time together.
Me too.
And yeah. So that was that date. Also, like, how many ways can they put this woman in the air?
Just constantly putting Jenn, who's afraid of heights, up in heights. This date had so many things. It had the yellow brick road, then it had the hot air balloon, then it had like the baseball park, and then it had Jesse's voice, and then it had fireworks, and it was just like so many things.
The yellow brick road also, like, couldn't they have invested in a better yellow brick road?
Just something a little better. Did you notice
like,
the women?
Put it on a flat surface, please. Like, this is embarrassing watching it like flop in the grass.
And then it's like Daisy and Kelsey just like appear. They're like, hi. Yeah. Like, and a group of women all in pink blazers like walk by. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I clocked that too. And the whole thing felt very chaotic and weird. I was happy to see Kelsey again because I
Me
love
too.
her.
I love her.
Yeah, it was interesting how they made Daisy Glenda and Kelsey Elphaba, which, you know, is kind of fitting, but also just like, yeah, fucking eye roll. You just rolled your eyes. That's how I feel.
It's like, oh, Daisy's the good witch. Is she? I don't know. I don't know. I hadn't really thought about her except for this week. She announced that she is officially partnering with Daisy Sour Cream.
Oh, of course. Wait, is she in a relationship with that dude still?
I don't know. She doesn't come up in our feed a lot. I haven't seen her in a while. I wonder
why she doesn't come up.
I wonder why. But one thing I'm gonna be pissed about, and it's fully Maddie Pruitt and Daisy's fault, is that when you click on her Discover feed, there's like Trump appreciation posts.
Oh my!
So like,
are you?
So like,
yeah,
Instagram,
because we follow them.
Yeah, because we follow these people who follow Trump. So like, I got a not ironic post, Ivanka Trump wishing Trump happy Father's Day in the Discover feed, and I was like, this is really, it's like two different worlds between my personal Instagram and like our podcast Instagram.
That is so wild. I kind of live for that though, because like I know where I'm always saying like I like the Bachelor franchise in particular because it connects me to a part of America that I do not feel connected to, like especially politically.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's like a weird anthropological like look into like, oh, this is what they see. Like if you follow Trump, you get this message from Ivanka. Like what the fuck?
Where he looks like moderately normal. And I'm like, wait, what is this?
Yeah.
Ugh. But
gross.
Speaking of political beliefs, on Saturday, Devin went on a liking spree of all of Kamala Harris's posts and a bunch of and backliked a bunch of Joe Biden posts. So like my sister Becca was like, oh, he definitely wins, because Jen's definitely just sitting with him being like, fucking fix it, like go like everything.
I think he wins. Yeah. I mean, which I'm like separating.
Yeah.
So here's a situation where I feel like the Reddit chatter is like important. Like I need to know it. I think it says a lot. This man is a flip-flopper. If we're in this political time, like he's a flip-flopper. Am I surprised that he went and liked a bunch of Kamala Harris and Biden like posts? Absolutely not.
No.
Like, he will say whatever the fuck he needs to say to like make it right. And I do think he has some genuine intentions in there somewhere as well. Like him next to Sam M looks like a freaking god or something. Yeah. But like I don't like Devin. Like even with all that stuff aside, he runs his fucking mouth. Mm-hmm. He's annoying as fuck. Like he like, I don't know. I just think down the line, like if Jenn chooses him, which I think she does, like I don't think it's gonna. I hope it doesn't last. I know that's terrible of me to say, but I really hope it doesn't.
I think with any of the guys remaining, and I think she mostly has a good group of guys left. Like, I gotta talk about my 180 on Jeremy, and it's not just because we were DMing with him. Like this week was really a big week for Jeremy, or Jer-Bear as Jenn calls him.
Oh wait, Jer-Bear?
Jer-Bear?
Heart, we love you, Jer-Bear.
Love you, Jer-Bear. I just feel like she's not picked someone and is not connected with people, and that's going to lead to a long-lasting relationship. Like I think regardless of who she picks, she's not going to marry them and she's not going to be engaged long. I just don't think. I think the Sam M thing got too much time. Yeah. And I think it's really taken away from her ability to have like a deeper connection with someone that seems like it's going to last.
Like it is wild that she went on a first date with Jeremy and picked him for hometowns. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that before. I also feel like this season is missing an episode. Like, is it just me?
No, I fully agree. And I feel like what we saw, like between their conversation last week and this date, like there's so much shit between her and Jeremy that they cut out. They're so comfortable with each other. Like this one-on-one date felt like a boyfriend and girlfriend exploring together, and they clearly know each other well. And we just haven't seen any of that. It's like, it's really bizarre.
I actually think they shortened the season. Like I'm gonna go and actually look at the math on this.
Yeah.
You know, we know the franchise is like looking for ways to like keep ratings up and stay relevant and all that with all this like competition out there these days. But like, and this is like the gripe that we had with Gabby and Rachel's season.
Yeah.
Is like no one had the opportunity to have a connection because there wasn't enough time for people to hang out. And like that's what's happening here. Like Jen needed one more week to have a date with Jeremy, to have whatever. And then she needed one more week to have that repeat date with someone from the beginning. Like that always happens. And we did not get that this time because she needed to give all the dates to everybody.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just feels wrong. It just feels off.
It feels really rushed. Like it feels like we're just getting to know these guys and just getting to know Jen, and then now it's meet my family next week, and I don't know, it feels like it's over too soon. And I mean, it can't go on much longer because Joan's season starts September 18th. So
we did start with 5 fewer men.
That's true.
So maybe that's part of it. But honestly, it's like I would have been fine if she only cut like one, or I don't remember how many guys she cut last week, but like there could have been smaller cuts throughout the season to keep people around longer. Like I'm okay with that.
Not that it's like a big difference, but didn't we always go from 6 to 4, not 7 to 4? So I feel like even just that is missing a week, where it's like there's a couple weeks where just one guy goes home from the bigger group, and I feel like we lost guys really fast. And I don't know. I agree. I just feel like there's so much that's missing, and that Jeremy date felt like, you're right, like 2 weeks before hometowns, not like I'm giving you a hometown rose on this great date that we've had. Yeah,
like the first time we're really getting a chance to sit down and get to know each other. Like other than this, they've just had their like little chats like at a cocktail parties. Like that is wild to me.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeremy, let's talk about this. Jer Bear.
I'm so happy to see a couple talk about a religion that's not Christianity, and I'm saying that as a Christian person. Like, it is so nice to hear two people talk about like combining their traditions. And like this is my husband is Jewish and I'm Catholic, so I appreciate that Jeremy's previous 2 girlfriends were Catholic.
Yes, I thought of you. Thank you for sure on that one.
And Ethan was like, "Oh, he knows what's good."
Love it.
And it was nice to hear them have conversations about like combining their traditions and how one doesn't have to exist over the other. And I think a lot of times when we see like Christianity talked about on this show, it's like if you're not religious, we can't work. Like even Tayshia, who we loved, cut Ivan because he wouldn't be as religious as her, even though he was like willing to do everything she wanted to do. And I think this was such a cool conversation where it was like, well, I'm going to stay Buddhist and you're going to stay Jewish, and we're going to combine this going forward with our families and take a little bit of everything.
Right. I loved the back and forth. Like, and I don't know, it would just seem like such a comfortable conversation. You know, Jeremy was just like, my Jewish identity is important to me. I like, off the bat, I don't expect you to convert, but I want the Jewish faith to be a part of my children's lives, and here's why. And, you know, I feel like Jen was really, I just liked how she was like, yeah, I'm open to that, and this is important to me too. Yeah. You know, like she didn't just cave on that. She also like expressed what she wanted. And then Jeremy was like, I think Jewish Buddhist kids sound cool. And I was like, I do too.
It sounded so cute, and it was so comfortable. Like there was no like stilted what does our future look like. It really felt like a couple like wondering what the future would be like, and it was really it was really sweet.
Right. And I think it like showed a level of respect between them, which like they didn't outwardly say it, but I think was really there. And this actually just one more thing about our King Grant. After this atrocious display of of watching Sam try to come up with a reason why he loved Jen. Like literally anything. You could have said like you have nice teeth. Like it could have been anything.
Yeah.
Grant sits down with her at the end of that terrible day and is just like, you know, he's like, I'm nervous. She's like, tell me more about that. And he's like, I just respect you so much. And I was like, yes.
It's
how easy was that?
It's not that difficult. Like,
no. And like, what a nice thing to say to someone who has been talked to like they don't exist all day from the person they like the most in the situation. Yeah. Like, you know, it's just, so it was nice to see like Jeremy and her having that kind of respectful back and forth with one another. And also I feel like they have like, there's a je ne sais quoi between them. Like, like truly boyfriend, girlfriend vibe.
I can see because I don't think she picks him just based on whoever interacts on social media tends not to get picked. So like we've had conversations with Jonathan and Grant and Sam and Jeremy. And I think that is kind of like in the past also on other seasons, it's been people who aren't picked because I think the winner is under such lock and key with ABC PR. So I don't think that she picks him, but I could really see like her breaking up with her fiance and then rekindling.
That would be so exciting.
Yeah.
What if she does that and rekindles with Spencer? And that's why they showed us that whole mom thing.
That was so sad.
I know. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's like, hey, mom.
Hey, mom. And she goes, what does this mean? And he goes, I got sent home. And she's like, I'm so sorry, my baby. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God. I know. It was one of those things where like, I just felt like my heart just melted. I didn't feel like he was being anything other than just like sweet with his mom. And it was so cute.
It's like that classic moment where it's like, you know, you're never too old to be like your mom's baby, where it's like sometimes if I have a bad day and I'm just like, Mom, like I don't talk to her like my adult self. It's like this tone that your mom knows that like you don't want to be talked to like an adult in that moment. You just want to be like, oh no, my baby. Like,
oh my God, totally. I had one little bone to pick with Jeremy, and it totally could be editing. But like when they were sitting having lunch or something, and she was clearly like opening up about the harrowing day she had before. And it felt like she wanted to say more about that situation. And he like a little bit cut her off and was like, now you're hearing me. Like, it was a little bit like, oh, you should have listened to what she wanted to say.
Yeah.
She clearly wanted to say something, and like he maybe a little bit didn't want to hear it, which is why he did that.
I can't fully blame him.
Yeah. What?
I can't fully blame him for like not wanting to hear, because then she has to be like, well, and I'm so upset because Sam's my number one pick, as you know.
Yeah, it is a little bit like, so I give him a pass on that one. Jer Bear, you can tell us what was really going on in that moment if you want. We have to say that like I think we were a little, I don't know what about Jeremy on the pod last week, and he listened and DM'd us, and he was so kind about it. And like,
I know.
We like love you, Jeremy, not Jerry. Sorry.
I love when people have a good sense of humor about it, because they have the right temperament to go on this show. Like when you're dealing with somebody that's like, we're just living our lives and you guys just sit at home and comment on it. It's like, yeah, that's what you're doing. Like you're going to make money from this because people get to sit at home and comment on it. Like, I'm sorry. It's just the way that this works.
Yeah.
And so when people have like a good sense of humor about it, I'm like, oh, you actually can like pull off being on TV. Like you picked the right thing to do. Like there are some people who are just unhinged and do not belong on TV because they cannot handle criticism of themselves. And it's like, you know, you have to laugh at yourself. You're on The Bachelorette. Like
you are. Yes. This
it's
is
a little bit funny that you're on The Bachelorette.
Yeah. Jeremy seems like a great guy. Like I mean, it's not that like I don't think it's Jeremy. I just think it's Devin.
I know.
Like I just think it's Devin, and it's like it's not even like a commentary on the other guys because it's just like I think she just chooses like I think she was really into Sam M. He's gone, and Devin was next in line. And with how fast everything is moving, it's just like I don't. Like you said, I just don't think there's a time to catch up in a way.
Yeah, there's, Jeremy made a valiant effort catching up this week by like getting the hometown date, but I just feel like, I just think it's his to lose. Like I feel like she really likes John, but she's not going to get past like, do we have more than fun or whatever? And she likes Marcus, but he's not going to be able to be like fully vulnerable the way she needs. And like she likes Jeremy, but she's gonna say like we just started connecting too late in the game, and it's gonna be Devin by default almost. And I have a feeling, unfortunately, that Devin is good in bed, and I think they're gonna have a really good time, and that's just gonna seal the deal.
Like we've been saying from the beginning, big dick energy for sure.
Big dick energy, and this is so crass, but he gives me the vibe that he goes down on women. Like I know that all the Trump stuff might speak against it, but I just get the vibe that he does, and it's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. But the question is, and you brought it up, do they like? Is there going to be some after the final rose shakeup?
Yeah, I think it's going to go the way of Becca Kufrin, where.
We had it under the rug.
We had this really tough conversation and he's learning and he's, he understands why liking those things were harmful and blah, blah. And then like toast to the fire, you can't be with him and still be perceived as this like, Becca's situation was a little bit different because she was like really our first lead that was openly liberal in a lot of ways, like campaigning for Hillary and stuff like that. And to pick someone that's so MAGA was just so crazy. I don't know where Jenn stands. Like, I don't know if she has this obligation to come out and say like, oh, I don't agree with that as much as Becca did, but I don't know.
I really want her to tell us and to just be like, I would love if I think there is a bit of this like political under wraps situation with Bachelor Nation in particular, probably because they're trying to cater to so many different audiences.
Yeah.
Like, it's like from us to like the rightist right conservative people. So
and
it's
ages too.
Yeah. And so I guess it's in their interest to keep these things a little under wrap, but it's like in the age of the internet and Reddit and all the rest, like what purpose is that serving now other than having to cover up your tracks and like the internet sleuths are never gonna get worse at sleuthing than they are now, and they are pretty fucking good at it. So
they're only gonna get better. And like I just you're never gonna find anybody with a squeaky clean record. Like we thought we did it with Gary. It didn't happen.
No.
And I think the show knows where it stands politically, and so the outrage is really only coming from the fans. And so it's almost like I hope they don't do fan service after the final rose to try to convince us that like this bothered them at ABC, because it doesn't. Like
it only bothers them because it creates controversy that they don't want to deal with, but it's not like a real caring about people.
Right.
Right.
And I'm aware that even though this is a very conservative show, it is still not in their favor to be outwardly anti-liberal. I'm aware that that's like the privilege that our party has, that like on TV, it is not cool to be like ultra conservative in these mainstream spaces, even though there's always the undercurrent that we talk about a lot. And so it is this kind of interesting thing where it's like, these shows are putting forth these conservative ideals about what relationships look like and what religion can what role religion should play in everybody's life and stuff like that. But then like when people have those political beliefs, ABC's like, whoa, wait, we don't agree with that. And it's like, just stand behind what you believe. Like, we're going to be pissed off, but like, you guys are selecting these people and putting forward this messaging. So like, just own it. I don't know.
Right. I want Jenn to be forward and outward about her political beliefs.
Me too.
I'm going to say that here so that someone hears it.
And I want her to agree with me.
Yes, I want her to agree with me. I just have a hard time picturing someone who grew up Buddhist.
I know.
Who has experienced and talks about anti-Asian hate the way that she has on this show. Like, those two things alone, actually.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it does not compute. And then seeing Devin doing all those liberal likes, I'm like, okay, so maybe what they can do at After the Final Rose is endorse the Harris Wall campaign.
They would never.
They would never.
They would
But
never.
Wouldn't it be iconic? And Devin, then I would be totally 100% okay with you.
I'd be fully on board. I'd be like, come on over. Yeah, that would be wild. Like, I think it'll be
That would be wild.
I think it'll be interesting because we are in an election year and this season is going to end in September. So I think it's like they've kind of queued themselves up for like a weird, like, as you're saying, endorsement or not endorsement. Like, they
Right.
either have to not address it,
Right.
which is an endorsement of Trump, or they have to address it, which is an endorsement of Harris. So they are kind of stuck.
They're a little bit stuck. Like, it'll probably boil down to them paying lip service to some like issues that we can all generally agree on with some very vague language. Like, people should be able to do. It'll end up being like a very libertarian message, I bet.
Yeah. Which is, fine for ABC. That's
like that's a point in the right direction, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't
Libertarians
actually know how I feel about that.
Yeah, the Libertarians booed Trump this week, so I guess it's like a
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh,
After
wow.
like
I just listened to the daily episode about how like the Trump campaign has just imploded since Harris like announced her campaign, and how Trump's like, it's not fair.
Yeah, when one guy has to say, yeah, I do want kids to eat lunch, and like people are coming for him for that, and the other guy has to say, I didn't fuck my couch. I just feel like you've lost. I don't know.
Well, okay, I'm gonna say this. Like, I just think the like Christian conservative thing is just like, it's a little like gross and boring at this point. And like, I think Bachelor Nation, like, do you want gross and boring like Sam M?
Yeah. Look at
Like, or do you want people who are actually interesting, who have deep thoughts, who can bring out like the type of stories and life experiences that we've heard this season? Like, the stuff that we've heard this season, it's not just because the men are the way they are. It's because Jenn has like brought that out of them, you know? And like, that's what you get when you have leads who like have a more complex situation. And like, this is a very big sweeping statement, but like, obviously we all know where I am politically. I just think liberal people are more interesting and they have more complex lives.
Yeah.
And they have like, I don't know, I think they're smarter. So, and that's what I want to see on TV. And I just like, that's what I want. I don't want a Sam M sitting here telling me ferocious love over and over and over again without being able to tell me why one single thing about me that's like good.
Yeah. And I think what we're talking about is like the representation of it in media. Like, I think, like, I do think that if you are generally more accepting of different groups of people, then you are welcoming different stories. And that can follow however people want. Like, and I think that leaning into being a bully is not the card that it once was. And I think that we're seeing a big turn in culture where it's like, you don't have to be a dickhead. And I think that that's like the rejection of Sam M, where it's like, in the past, I could see people being like, wow, it's so hot how he just like puts people in his fucking place. And now it's like, no, this is actually really weird that he's like sticking his tongue out and being rude and doesn't ask her a thing about herself. Like, we've come very far.
Yeah. It makes me, I've been thinking a lot about JD Vance. I mentioned the Daily a lot in this episode, but there was an episode. This is the New York Times podcast that they put out every day, in case you don't know. And they had like a episode about someone who went to law school with JD Vance and his wife, Usha Vance, who's Indian American. And I feel all sorts of ways about that. I feel all sorts of ways about the Indian American conservative movement.
And yet they're confused how Kamala can be black and Indian, but his children can be white and Indian. Anyway.
Right. Right. Like, what? And I just want to say, I just said a bunch of mean things about conservatives. Like, I want to say, my father is a Trump supporter. Mm-hmm. And this is like a very complex thing in my life. And like, I love my dad. I have a lot of issues with that part of him. But like, so I'm very like aware like that there are conservatives everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm close with many of them, whatever. The whole JD Vance thing, though, the thing that was really interesting to me about the person that he knew in law school was they're a trans person. They're like very liberal. And at that time, like JD Vance, he was conservative, but he was like very willing to engage with this person in conversations around like prescient topics at the time. And this is everything from like George Floyd's murder to abortion to like all these huge things, and like had long, respectful conversations via email about all of these things back then.
Paper
and
trail.
Like Usha was in the same like group, like they were all in the same like small group together throughout law school, whatever. And like then Trump comes along and the rhetoric starts changing, and JD just like leans into the mean guy thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a little bit satisfying to see how that is not really working this time around.
Yeah.
Like, at least maybe that's how I'm perceiving it. Like, who knows? I guess only time will tell. Like, maybe it is working and this is just a blip in time and a moment. But you said it last week. I think it's so true. It's like, it's not fun to like hate people.
It's not fun to make people feel bad.
Yeah,
and like
I
think like my parents are conservative. I'm from a religious background. I like make sweeping generalizations about conservatives and religious people all the time, and I think that it is like a more like when you talk to people one-on-one, it's always different than what they're projecting, but what they're projecting out there is this mean guy thing,
right?
And it's so fun to see it fail because it has contributed to so much divisive language between people that like it's just so it almost feels like those Jordan Kepler videos where he goes to the rallies and like points out the hypocrisy are now happening on the main stage, where it's like, it's not just on the Daily Show that someone's going to a rally and seeing like he went and he was like, well, how would you feel about somebody that like had called Trump Hitler and was like now wanted to like flip flop to be on his team? Like, oh, they're like, oh, fuck that guy. Like that would be such a huge problem. Like, oh, no, that was JD Vance and he did pick him. And they're like, oh, it's so fun. Like,
yeah, it's just like, it's interesting. And it is a very complex thing. I mean, it's a very weird time that we're in.
Yeah.
But I just have to believe that we're moving in the right direction. And I think just bringing it back to what this podcast is about, I do think that like Bachelor Nation is a weird reflection of that.
Yeah.
And who they choose to be the leads is a reflection of that. And I think choosing Grant, like, I don't know his political background, but I can make some assumptions, at least on a few things.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just don't see this guy being a total dickhead. Like,
it would be very surprising if there's something, because usually there's not bad shit that comes out about the lead, right? So it's like, usually they at least do their homework on the lead. So I think he's probably not politically active either way, because that could be used either way. But I think it is a big deal that they have gone back to back leads of color. And I think it is in response to the fact that Zach Shellcross had one of the least watched seasons of all time. And
what the fuck were they thinking? I mean, that actually literally illustrates everything I was trying to say.
Yeah.
It's like when you lean into that side of the political spectrum, you get a Zach Shallcross.
Yes. You get this just like literally AI configuration of what like attractive white man is. It's like it's so it's just funny to watch it like shift from that. And like, yes, they picked Joey, a white man, but he's not like cookie cutter 6'2", like blonde.
No,
he was very different type of guy. And like then they picked Jen, now they're picking Grant, they picked Charity before after Zach. Like I think that there is kind of this pressure to be different, and the ratings are getting better because the show is getting better for many reasons.
Yeah, totally. Apparently Jen's like premiere had one of the highest ratings for a Bachelorette premiere like in several years.
Yeah.
I think the numbers have gone down since then. I mean, there has been the Olympics and a whole, it's also like the summer. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like they used to start the Bachelorette like in May.
I thought I remembered that too. I don't remember. I mean, because we used to have Paradise. So...
Right. And then Paradise would be after that. It's like they switch it up so much, honestly, that
I know.
I don't know. I have to say, I'm not very excited about Joan's season of the Golden Bachelorette.
Yeah, I'm worried about it.
Yeah.
The previews are not very dynamic.
Yeah.
And she seems nervous. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like I don't know her like at all.
No, she was just like a beautiful blonde lady. Like,
right. I'm like, I still have dreams of Sandra being my bachelorette. My golden bachelorette.
She'd be so much fun, but like she would literally like break the mold of the show because she'd be like, "Yeah, I'm having sex with all of you, and what do you want to say about it?"
She's like, "And I'm leaving single. Goodbye."
Yeah, and I'm leaving single, and I actually found a few men that I'd like to bring into the house. Like it would just be like breaking the mold of what the show is supposed to be.
Can we
like,
actually make this polyamorous show polyamorous?
Can we just admit what it is? And it, you know, I'm a 65-year-old woman. I'd like to bone a couple more 20-year-olds. Like, let's just call it what it is. Like,
I know. I love her. Anyway, I actually hope it's a great season. Maybe
me too.
Whatever. But I'm just not feeling it at this present moment. Is there anything else to say about Jen's episode, though? Sorry for all the major tangents.
I know we're all over the place, but it's fine. I think we didn't see any Jonathan this week. We got very little Devin. We got very little Grant.
I think they're trying to tread lightly with Devin.
I know.
Like, the one part that they showed of Devin, he was speaking about Sam M, was so obviously Frankenbit.
Yeah.
The audio was all over the place, like clearly taken from like 5 different ITMs. Yeah. I was like, wow, that's rough. If you had to cut that much to make it sound that way, and you could not find anything else that would sound remotely better, like that says a lot to me about like, and I mean, you could just pick up, he's so fucking annoying. I'm sorry, Devin.
He's not listening. He doesn't listen. He doesn't listen.
Devin would never listen to this podcast. Let's be real.
2 women yapping? No. That's making an assumption, but it is what it is.
I don't think you're really going to be listened to in that relationship. I think he does a good job feigning interest.
He knows what to say.
Yeah.
And that's always hard to like trust the guy that always knows the right thing to say. And I think maybe since Sam was that guy, like more overtly and actually had nothing to back it up and is not quick on his feet because he's not very smart. I think Devin is smart. And so I think that it's easier to play that game when you're smart.
Yeah. Oof, okay. Well, I mean, maybe we're like totally wrong. I don't think we are, but
I don't know. I just feel more and more that it's him. Like the likes just really sealed it for me. That like,
oh yeah,
why bother fixing your reputation? You're not the Bachelor. Paradise isn't for a year. Everyone would forget by a year. I just think it's
yeah. It's clearly in like there's no other reason to backtrack on that.
No,
or try and fix it if you aren't like gonna be in a spot. And he was on Bachelor Happy Hour.
Did you listen?
I didn't listen. Maybe I should. I mean, it'll probably just be a bunch of like, oh yeah, he's the winner. Oh yeah, he's the winner. Like, They only put people on that show if they want you to feel a certain way about them. I think there's been a lot of damage control this week.
Yeah, I think so too. I didn't listen. It doesn't come up on my TikTok, like never, because I don't think Serena and Joe are like the most dynamic interviewers, and I don't think they really go there with their guests because it is an ABC podcast.
Oh yeah. I mean, they've gone through like so many cycles of hosts.
I know.
I stopped listening like 3 cycles ago because it's so surface level and boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I stopped
so
listening when
boring.
Rachel Lindsay left.
Yeah, like not interested. It's just like, and Joe and Serena, like happy for them. They are not the most dynamic couple though. Like, no.
And on that note, give us Bachelor Happy Hour next. Why not?
I know.
What do you have to
fuck?
lose?
You don't want us to like liberal ladies
He's like talking shit on the institution
talking shit about your entire franchise
and like your network.
Oh my
And like
God.
the only man we like is Jesse. Like I don't think they would want that.
But we love Jesse.
We love Jesse. He's our
Jesse.
favorite little boy.
I mean, yes, I love Jesse. I could not say enough nice things about him.
Neither.
Okay, it is literally after midnight for Mary, so we have to stop doing this. This was the only time we could record this week, and it is unfortunate because the first 4 episodes of Love is Blind UK have dropped.
So good.
It's really good. Like,
Yeah.
100% recommend. I'm riveted by it. Love is Blind gets me every time.
Every time. It's the same format and it doesn't matter. There's the same tropes of people where it's like the lovesick puppy dog girl, the
Yes.
narcissistic guy, the hippie that doesn't get the point of the show, the jock, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's always perfect. Like, this is your warning to watch it because we're going to be talking about it a lot going forward.
Yes, like 100%. Like, we're probably gonna drop another episode, potentially before our next one. So
stay tuned.
Yeah, like we were maybe gonna record on Friday, which means we would be recapping like whatever they release next as well. So like potentially the first like 7 to 8 episodes of the season. It's really good. Just trust us. You should watch it. If you're like traveling, download it for your flight.
Yeah.
Really good flight watch. And yeah, so we'll probably have like an extra episode this coming week on that, and we can report on any Bachelor Nation. I just have a feeling there's going to be some Bachelor Nation chatter going on this week.
Yeah. And
after this episode and the announcement and just like everything,
there's going to be a lot.
So we'll keep up with all of it. Thank you all for listening. We love
everyone.
you so much. And we'll be back next week. Yay. Please love this episode.
Thanks for listening to Can I Steal You for a Minute? Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and if you like the show, please leave a rating and review. Follow us on social media at Can I Steal You for a Minute Pod, and support the show through Patreon at patreon.com/Can I Steal You for a Minute.